because obviously I'm not the slimmest person in the world, but I'm also not the fattest person in the world. And I do find it interesting how, like, on the internet, I get a lot of, like, really fat-phobic comments, people being really rude to me. And I know partly it's because I got big boobs, and I feel that gives me a look. Like, a lot of women will have their boobs made smaller because it makes you look more petite. And I have, but I will say that I, by and large, wear a medium in most of my clothes. But, like, on the internet, that's still, like, really fat. And, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I'm skinny. But, like, if, like, the amount of harassment you get, you may as well just look however the fuck you want. Do you know what I mean? No, yeah, they balance out my ass. I'd have to have my ass shaved, my hips off. Like, it would be a nightmare. We're not doing it. And let's be honest, a lot of the cultural, like, norms towards thinness are, like, white supremacy based, disliking, not me, obviously I am white, but, like, disliking body types that didn't fit in with the, like, Eurocentric body standards. So a lot of the time when people are running around saying things, mind your business. My wife and I get stared at because she's a bigger gal, but I'm not a huge dude. We get laughed at sometimes, kind of sucks. Yeah, fat phobia is rampant, insane, and especially aimed at women.
I can't
like, it's vile.
I can't imagine. I hear about it, right? And I'm like, wait, so people just, like, they laugh at you when you walk, because, like, I know a few people who are big, who are fat, and I don't know. Just to me, it would never occur to me to, like, point and laugh at someone because of, like, the way they look.
No.
It's so weird. And I hear from, like, my friends who are, like, not white. They're sort of like, oh yeah, it's like this, and I'm sort of like, huh? People do that? People just, like, one of my best mates throughout all of college, and it was best man at a wedding, is Indian, right? People come up to him and go, what, because he's Indian, and he's like, cool, and walks away.
Yeah, like,
and I'm like, I was like, oh, lol, wait, that actually happens? And he was like, yeah, that actually happens. And I was like, what? I was like, even though I believed him, it was almost like unfathomable.
It's hard to envisage, like, how people can dislike other people so much that they don't even know. It's
really weird. It's almost like a lack of, like, a part of that brain's missing. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, when I say, like, fat phobia is mostly aimed at women, it's very much also aimed by women. Like, the internalized fat phobia, because women are told, like, do not be fat. Being fat is the worst thing you can do. Being unattractive is the worst thing you can do. Aging is the worst thing you can do. If you aren't looking good, if you aren't skinny, you have failed. Yeah. It doesn't matter what else you're doing because that's bad, right?
As a guy, you can be big. You get away with it, right? As a guy, it's sort of like, you're like, oh, I'm just a big guy. And it's like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, the number of men I've seen who are comparatively fat as other women, but, like, will cross their arms and go, I'm a big guy, and then you'll go, yeah. Like, the issue isn't that it's men. Like, there are absolutely men aiming it at women, but men will usually do it to try and go, I wouldn't have sex with you, and you're like, that's fine, I don't want you to have sex with me, don't worry about it.
Cool.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, I mean, there's a lot, like, if you're interested in it, because I am not an expert by any means, there are a lot of really interesting books about, like, how, like, words like body positivity or body neutrality have really been co-opted, where those ideas even came from. I've seen a lot of people literally be like, I have some fat on my biceps actually popping. There's no fat there whatsoever.
Oh!
I'm hench! I just didn't want to. Do you know what I mean? They'll, like, squeeze a bit of fat and be like, do you see that? Do you see that? Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed, but I'm doing body positivity right now. And you're like, shut up. Like, within the kind of body neutrality / body positivity, because there's, like, two angles on it, movement, there are a lot of people who, like, really will, like, subcategorize. Like, the size that I am, I will get, like, called fat on the internet. But, like, in my day-to-day life, by and large, people won't treat me badly. But then for some people, like Sophie, my sister, she will get treated badly in her day-to-day life. But then for people who, like, for example, have, like, comorbidities, or maybe they have, like, disabilities, so they have a harder time getting around or something, they'll be harassed even worse. And, like, it's really interesting because there's all these issues and it always just comes down to, like, go on a diet, and it's so harmful. You know?
No, we've already proven over and over again that, like, people feel hunger differently, and it's one of those things that I don't think there's any compassion about, because, like, I see a lot of, like, I'm on fitness TikTok, right? Because I browse TikTok and I'm into fitness. I'm getting into fitness, and I get a lot of people sort of
Fred and I have been lifting.
There's
You
one
can't tell because I got my biceps covered up right now. But
this one particular guy was sort of like, oh yeah, it's so easy to calorie count. It's so easy to do this, so easy to do that. And I was like, yeah, but you don't feel. It's been proven scientifically that some people, it doesn't matter. It's not about weight. It's not about like it's not about environment. They've proven scientifically that some people just feel hunger differently. Like some people, and I think it's linked more to race than anything else. So I think
it's a variety of things. I don't think we have a solid answer on it yet. Some people think that it's to do with the microbiome. So if you change your gut microbiome, sometimes it's if you were on restrictive
the study
diets.
sort of like showed that like it was like it was random, and you might be right, it might be about that, but there was a correlation between basically white and black people basically have seem to feel hunger more intensely.
What I'm saying, and I do 100% agree with you, and I'm sure maybe they looked into this in the study because I haven't read the study. But what I'm saying is we've come up with a lot of like, oh, in X scenario, people will feel hunger differently, but we don't 100% know why. So is it based on like the food that you have accessible? Because I know in America, based on like the zoning laws, like the racist zoning laws back in the day, you would end up with people who are living in certain like mostly black areas who suddenly do not have like shops available to buy fresh food. And the food that, so what do they call them? They call them food deserts.
Hey, Lord left.
And so they're out there, right? So I'm not saying that this is, oh, well, it's because like a certain group of people can't get food. But I think that there's often like comorbidities to it. So like, do more black people in this study live in food deserts where they are more gonna end up eating more like heavily processed, like stage 4 processed food? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, processed food is the word.
We don't have a vignette. We have it's a chromatic aberration on the edges.
Yeah, like a chromatic vignette, I guess.
So yeah, it is a vignette, but not like a dark or a light one. Does that make sense?
God, I fucking love Lyrics emotes, man. His cats are so fucking cute, dude. I went to the Lyric stream the other day and I was still a mod, and I was like, oh, that's wholesome.
Honorable. But yeah, I honestly think that there's so much good work and so much studying to be done out there to help people answer questions that are like, why do you feel hunger differently? Why do different bodies process things differently? Like, we've only really started looking at like women and their relationship with food and fat gain and brown fat and all that stuff.
But for some people, it really is easy, right? They just be like, oh, I just don't eat that. I just stop eating. Like, if I want to lose weight, I just stop eating. But man, they just don't feel that. They don't feel that fucking like that hunger, right? And like for some people, it's literally like, it's like a torture almost. Like you're literally sitting there and you're like, fuck, I'm hungry. Fuck.
Fred has a hard relationship with food specifically because he didn't have enough food as a child. So, like, Fred...
That's why I'm so short.
Yeah, I'm just short because of asthma. But Fred, and also I'm Italian, so whatever. This may have been my maximum height, but we're hoping not. But Fred is, like has a hard time with the idea of being hungry because, like, he got a bit traumatized by it when he was younger, you know?
Yeah, PG.
Yeah,
size 12, everyone called you fat. Size 6, everyone said you look really unwell.
Well, that's something I've been really enjoying about what we've been doing at the gym, which is lifting weights. What I've really been enjoying about lifting weights is that whatever people have to say about my body, however I feel about my body, the fact that I can like move and do the things I want to do with comfort feels really good, right? Wow, that's such a long time.
Yeah, probably back in the DayZ days, right? Oh, DayZ, man, those are the days. But today I had to go up went back to the cube. Our previous tenant's moving out, our friend's moving in, and I went into the loft because we needed a flathead screwdriver, and I knew there was a bunch of stuff in the loft, right? So basically, the loft at the cube is quite a high ceiling comparatively for the room, and you have to sort of like heave yourself up.
So yeah, you essentially like you have to get on top of the little stair thing we've got.
Yeah, little.
And then you have to push yourself up with your arms because it doesn't get you high enough.
So it's like you basically hold onto the sides here, and from head height you have to push all the way up. And man, it was so easy getting in that loft today. I remember when I used to do it back when I lived there. It'd be like,
oh! Yeah, and you fell out once.
Yeah, I did fall out once. It's true. But this time, oh God, yeah, I did fall out. I proper fell out. But yeah, today I literally just went whoop. And I was sort of like, that was the easiest it's ever been. And getting down as well, because you've got to like lower yourself, which is actually way harder. In lowering myself, I was like, oh, this is actually super easy. Like, holy shit, I'm way stronger than I used to be. And that's the part of like fitness that I really like, is basically being like, I'm strong as fuck, boy.
Especially for women, the focus on exercise tends to be how to target this area of fat, how to make this smaller, how to make this more appealing, how to don't lift too much, you'll get bulky and all this shit. And at the end of the day, when you realize I live in my body, I dress my body, I have to see it every day, right? I have to use it. If you are happy and comfortable, that is all you can ask for. I personally like feeling a bit stronger. I've been enjoying it.
I think more women should feel stronger. Honestly, I think a lot of women are worried about going to the gym and lifting weights because they don't want to be bulky.
Yeah,
and I was like,
also,
women don't get bulky, man. It's just it just doesn't happen for women.
Yeah, and also like you go into the weightlifting area and it's not generally like a friendly space. It's not somewhere where people are gonna like
it's
give you
intimidating.
room.
Yeah.
It is intimidating, and it's not like people are gonna be like rude to you. But at the same time, like people are gonna be looking at you sideways. You're gonna be a bit worried you're not doing the right thing. But I do think that like that bit of like confidence that comes with it, it feels nice.